Beneath Salem's fog, where cobblestone streets curl and disappear into a thick, whispering mist, secrets linger that only the moon dares to illuminate. Welcome to Midnight Murmurs Radio. I am Evelyn Blackwood, your guide through quiet nights where the soft hum of the wind, the gentle rustle of fallen leaves, and distant echoes from the past blend together to create a rhythm both soothing and enchanting. Before we step into tonight's tale, prepare yourself for a journey of relaxation. Find a comfortable spot to lie down. Place your head gently on a soft pillow. Close your eyes and take slow, deliberate breaths. Feel each muscle, each finger, each toe release, letting go of tension and worry. Picture yourself walking into a quiet space where everyday sounds fade away, leaving only tranquility, allowing your imagination to drift freely into a safe, peaceful realm where anything can happen. With each inhale and exhale, you sink deeper into a state of calm, your spirit gently carried along the swirling fog of Salem, where every ancient house, every towering tree, every flickering lantern holds its own story, delicate yet tinged with mystery. This is a bedtime story, a sleep story, a relaxing story, a guided sleep meditation, inviting you to listen, to let your mind still, and to prepare for a journey that is both serene and magical. As you sink further into this quiet state, imagine stepping onto the cobblestone streets slig with mist, each footfall echoing softly like a drumbeat in the night, mingling with the whisper of the wind through aged branches. The fog embraces the old buildings, casting ghostly silhouettes as if the past had never left. The scent of damp leaves mixes with the faint aroma of candle wax, and the subtle creak of windows swaying in the night air creates a melody that is both calming and strangely enchanting. Under the silver light of the moon, the Halloween lanterns flicker gently, their glow like the heartbeat of a town that is alive in quiet ways. A town that invites you to both relax and wander through the layers of its history. In the hidden corners of Salem, the outlines of ancient homes tell stories of past misfortunes and whispered secrets. From the dark legends of witches to the quiet tragedies of those who lost their way in the town's long history. One gray house with a slightly ajar window sends a soft, golden light spilling onto the misted path, as if inviting you to listen to the whispers of times long gone. The rustle of leaves, the whistle of the wind through narrow cracks, and occasionally the faintest sound a soft, almost imperceptible laugh brings. A shiver, a gentle reminder that you are walking between worlds, neither afraid nor fully awake. Just aware enough to feel the touch of the supernatural, the carved pumpkins, each carefully lit, cast warm, dancing lights across weathered walls, painting a scene that is both cozy and magical, where light and shadow dance together, lulling your mind toward restful slumber. You move slowly along the street, listening to the soft echo of history, imagining the footsteps that have passed here centuries before. The choices made, the consequences felt, the spirits lingering quietly, and the small miracles of life and death that weave. Through time, every house, every window, every whisper is gentle, flowing like waves, guiding your mind into a state of relaxation. Let your imagination roam as the calm Halloween atmosphere surrounds you. The smell of roasted pumpkin, the faint giggles of children in costumes, all blending with the night's soft symphony to create a relaxing story, a sleep story rich with imagery and emotion, from peaceful to calming, from coziest to magical. And as you pause before one particular home where the lanterns glow, dances over the autumn leaves, you may hear a story both real and otherworldly. The spirits of Salem, traces of past lives, secrets never spoken, all passing gently like a mist embracing you. Your heartbeat slows, your mind lightens, and your soul floats along the rhythm of the tale. As the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a peaceful sleep. As the fog of Salem thickens around you, the cobblestone streets glisten under the pale glow of the moon, each stone telling a story of centuries past. You walk slowly, feeling the dampness of the night air settle on your skin, the chill both refreshing and oddly comforting. The lanterns lining the streets flicker, their light casting elongated shadows that stretch like fingers across the walls of ancient homes. Each house seems alive, breathing softly, whispering secrets through the cracks in its weathered wood and stone. You notice the subtle scent of burning candles mingling with the earthy aroma of fallen leaves, a combination that is both grounding and mystical. The town is quiet, yet every sound feels purposeful. The distant flutter of a shutter, the creak of an old gate swinging in the wind, the soft rustle of trees whose branches lean toward the path as if to guide you. This is a relaxing story, a sleep story, a guided sleep meditation, inviting you to sink deeper into a calm, magical night. You come upon a narrow alley, barely wide enough for a single person to pass, where the fog pools like a gentle river. As you step inside, the world seems to shrink, and your attention sharpens on the details. The texture of the bricks beneath your fingers, the glint of dew on the cobblestones, the faint scratching sound that echoes softly, almost like the scurrying of tiny creatures unseen. Empty space-time feels suspended. You are both present and distant, walking among echoes of history that have settled here over centuries. The alley twists, revealing a small courtyard where a single tree stands, its gnarled branches reaching upward, heavy with the orange and gold of autumn leaves. The lanterns hanging from the branches sway slightly, and in their light, shadows of the leaves dance across the walls, creating patterns that seem to shift and move like living memories. As you pause to observe, you sense the faint presence of someone or something watching from the edge of the courtyard. There is no fear, only curiosity. Perhaps it is the spirit of a child who once lived here, playing among the trees long ago. Perhaps it is the echo of a traveler, lost in the mists of time, seeking a path home. The air feels charged with a gentle energy, as if the very town of Salem is aware of your presence, embracing you, guiding you, allowing you to move slowly, to absorb every sensation. The rustle of the leaves, the distant toll of a bell from a forgotten chapel, the whisper of the wind through the branches, all become part of a bedtime story, a tapestry of calm, peace, and subtle magic. A small door at the far end of the courtyard catches your eye, its paint peeling and faded, but behind it glows a warm amber light. You approach, feeling drawn to it, and notice etched symbols along the frame runes from a bygone era, faintly familiar yet undeniably mysterious. The door creaks open easily, revealing a room bathed in soft candlelight. Inside, the air is warm, carrying the scent of cinnamon and nutmeg, a gentle reminder of autumn celebrations and Halloween traditions that have been observed for generations. Shadows flicker across the walls, forming shapes that resemble dancing figures, long-forgotten gatherings, and laughter that no longer exists in the living world. You step inside, letting the warmth envelop you, feeling a sense of coziest comfort mixed with the thrill of the magical unknown. From a window within the room, you can see the fog rolling across Salem's rooftops, curling around chimneys and spires. Somewhere below, children in costumes dart between houses, their laughter muffled and distant, creating a rhythm that is both calming and nostalgic. The room itself seems alive, each object carefully placed as if waiting for someone to notice its story. A carved pumpkin with a mischievous grin, a bundle of dried herbs, a crystal softly reflecting candlelight. The space invites you to breathe, to settle, to let go, to absorb the quiet, magical energy of the night. This is a relaxing story for the mind and spirit, a sleep story where every image, every sound, and every scent draws you closer to rest, yet leaves you marveling at the enchantment hidden beneath Salem's fog. As you sit on the wooden floor, feeling the smoothness beneath your hands, the shadows seem to move with intention, guiding your gaze toward a small book resting on a shelf. Its leather cover is worn, and as you open it, you see pages filled with handwritten notes, sketches of herbs, stars, and symbols of ancient rituals. The words seem to whisper to you, a gentle hum that flows through your mind without effort, connecting you to centuries of stories, choices, and secrets. The candlelight flickers one last time, casting a glow over the room as you breathed deeply, feeling the calm, magical, peaceful energy of Salem wrap around you like a soft blanket. Every sensation, every detail brings your mind closer to serenity, allowing the boundaries between history, magic, and rest to blur. As the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a peaceful sleep. Asterisk, the fog outside thickens, curling around the rooftops of Salem like a living shroud, muffling the distant sounds of the town and turning familiar streets into shadowed corridors of memory. You step carefully from the warmth of the candlelit room, feeling the chill of the night seep through your clothes. Yet it is not unwelcome. It sharpens your senses and makes every whisper of the wind more alive. The cobblestones under your feet glisten with the evening dew, and each step sends a soft echo bouncing between the walls of the narrow alleyways, like the quiet heartbeat of the town itself. Somewhere nearby, the skeletal branches of an ancient tree scrape against a window pane, a sound so soft that it is almost imagined, yet your imagination embraces it fully, drawing you deeper into the delicate tension between the seen and the unseen. You pause at the intersection of two deserted streets, and in the corner of your vision, a flicker of movement catches your attention. There, just beneath the lamplight, a shadow seems to shift with a will of its own, stretching and bending as though it were aware of your gaze. For a moment, it vanishes, replaced by the steady rhythm of your breathing and the faint rustle of leaves swirling along the path. In this suspended space, every ordinary sound takes on a spectral quality. Each gust of wind becomes a whispered story, each distant creak a memory reaching out from the past. You are acutely aware of the centuries that have unfolded in these streets. The laughter, the sorrow, the choices that shaped the town's history, and it feels as if the night itself has been waiting for you to walk these paths. Turning a corner, you find yourself in front of a modest time-worn house, its windows dark, yet the outlines of carved pumpkins and autumn garlands suggest someone still cares for the rituals of the season. The air smells faintly of wood smoke and damp earth, grounding you, even as the fog pulls your attention toward the unknown. A single cat, black as the midnight sky, slinks past your feet, pausing to regard you with unblinking eyes before melting into the mist. The encounter feels meaningful, though you cannot name why, as if the town itself is quietly acknowledging your presence. You continue along the narrow lane, noting how the fog magnifies every sound. The drip of water from a gutter, the soft rustle of leaves, the distant toll of a church bell become part of the rhythm guiding your footsteps deeper into Salem's secret. Ahead, an archway framed with ivy leads into a small square, where the fog is so dense that the buildings appear to float, suspended between shadow and moonlight. You step into this space and feel a subtle shift in the air, as though you have crossed a threshold from the ordinary into the realm of the extraordinary. A fountain, long abandoned, stands at the center, its basin dry but etched with intricate carvings that glint faintly in the moonlight. Each pattern tells a story, an echo of a long-forgotten celebration, a whispered legend of the town's earliest settlers. You lean closer, tracing the grooves with your fingertips, feeling the cold stone and imagining the hands that once touched it centuries ago. For a moment, it seems the night holds its breath, and in that stillness, the past brushes against your consciousness. A sudden chill lifts your hair, and you turn to see a doorway partially hidden behind climbing vines, faint light spilling through the cracks. Drawn to it, you step closer, and a soft voice, barely a whisper, seems to rise from the threshold. It is not alarming. Rather, it is comforting in a strange way, a gentle invitation to uncover stories hidden beneath layers of time and fog. You cross the threshold, entering a small chamber filled with relics of Salem's history, antique books, delicate glass bottles, and faded letters tied with ribbons. The candlelight flickers across the walls, casting elongated shadows that dance and shift as if the room itself breathes. You feel the weight of centuries settle around you, the presence of countless souls whose lives intertwined with the town's magic, sorrow, and celebration. Here, in the quiet glow of that hidden chamber, the world outside seems to recede entirely. You feel the rhythm of your own heartbeat align with the pulse of the town, a connection between past and present, between shadow and light. The fog presses gently against the windows, a reminder that Salem's mysteries are never far away, waiting just beyond your sight. You breathe deeply, absorbing the warmth, the faint scents of candle wax and old paper, the hush of the night, allowing every detail to anchor you in the moment, while simultaneously letting your mind drift toward distant memories and imagined tales. You are part observer, part participant, yet entirely at peace, caught between the quiet enchantment of the present and the lingering whispers of what has come before. The night stretches on, endless and patient, wrapping you in its gentle, haunting embrace. As the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a peaceful sleep. The fog outside thickens as you wander further into Salem, curling around rooftops and winding alleys, softening the edges of reality and drawing you deeper into the town's ancient heartbeat. The night feels alive here, each shadow cast by the flickering lanterns seeming to have a story of its own, moving gently across the walls as though whispering secrets only the attentive can hear. The chill in the air brushes against your skin, refreshing yet carrying the weight of centuries past, and with every step you sense the layers of history pressing softly around you. Celebrations, lost hopes, and unspoken wishes lingering in the mist. Each sound is heightened. A distant creak of a door, the soft rattle of leaves stirred by the wind, the faint scurry of something small moving unseen. All of it forms a rhythm, a gentle guide leading you toward places hidden from the everyday eye, places that hold the quiet magic of Salem's forgotten nights. You follow a narrow, winding street where the fog seems to thicken into almost a living presence. The buildings here lean close together, their timbers groaning softly, their stone walls etched with the marks of centuries. You notice a faint glow spilling from a small, arched window, and through it, shapes flicker, moving shadows, perhaps of people long gone, or simply the imagination weaving stories around the light. You pass, leaning against the cool stone of a doorway, feeling the textures of the past beneath your fingers. The solid reassurance of walls that have stood witness to countless Halloween, countless nights of wonder, fear, and reflection. In the air hangs the soft scent of burning wood and dried herbs, mingling with the faint crispness of fallen leaves, a combination that somehow makes the night feel both sacred and alive. A small, winding path opens before you, bordered by ancient tombstones leaning at gentle angles, their inscriptions worn but still legible in the flickering moonlight. This forgotten corner of Salem seems suspended in time, where the living and the departed brush shoulders, and the quiet energy of memory hangs palpable in the cool night air. You step lightly along the path, noticing how the shadows stretch and bend with every flicker of light, how the fog pools around the bases of trees and gravestones, softening the edges of the world. Somewhere close, a distant owl hoots, its voice echoing faintly, answering the whispers of the wind as if the night itself is alive with gentle, watchful attention. At the end of the path, an old iron gate stands partially open, its hinges creaking softly when nudged by the wind. Beyond it lies a courtyard hidden from the main streets, with a fountain long dry but etched with elaborate carvings. You step inside, feeling the rough stone underfoot, noting the way the fog curls around the base of the fountain like a protective veil. Shadows move across the walls, animated by moonlight, and you imagine the countless nights of gatherings, whispers, and rituals that may have taken place here. Memories lingering in the stone itself, There is a sense of reverence in the space, a calm acknowledgement of the lives that pass through, the choices made, the laughter and the sorrow that have left traces within these walls. From this quiet vantage, you can see the outlines of neighboring rooftops disappearing into the fog, the flicker of lanterns on distant streets, and the muted sound of children's laughter carried softly on the breeze. Somewhere, the scent of pumpkin and spice drifts from a small kitchen, mingling with the crisp night air, reminding you that Halloween here is not merely spectacle but a living tradition, full of warmth and quiet wonder. You feel a subtle, almost imperceptible presence nearby, a reminder that Salem's history is never truly gone. It lingers in the air, in the stones, and in the quiet spaces where shadows bend and move. You pause before an old ivy-covered wall and notice a small, worn key resting upon it, glinting faintly in the moonlight. It seems out of place, yet somehow entirely natural, as if left for you to find. A small invitation into another story, another secret of the town. The fog shifts gently, brushing against your skin, and you imagine the hands that may have once held this key, the doors it may have opened, the lives it touched. The air hums with quiet magic, a reminder that even in the calm of night, Salem holds mysteries waiting for patient eyes and attentive hearts to discover. As you linger in this courtyard, taking in the sights, sounds, and subtle scents of the night, a sense of peace settles over you. The fog, the lanterns, the shadows, they all work together, weaving a tapestry of history and quiet enchantment that wraps around you like a soft, protective cloak. Time feels suspended here, and you realize that the magic of Salem is not loud or forceful. It is paciente, gentle, and ever-present, inviting you to walk slowly, breathe deeply, and allow yourself to feel the stillness, the wonder, and the quiet beauty of the night. As the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a peaceful sleep. You leave the quiet courtyard behind and return to the winding streets of Salem, the fog still heavy and alive, curling around corners and through the narrow alleys like a living thing. Every step carries you deeper into the history embedded in the stones beneath your feet. Each cobblestone a witness to centuries of lives, sorrow, secrets, and quiet celebrations of the season. The night air carries with it a subtle chill, brushing against your cheeks and fingertips, sharpening your senses while soothing your mind. Lanterns hanging from wrought iron brackets sway gently in the breeze, casting dancing shadows that stretch across the walls of ancient houses, their shapes shifting as if to tell stories only those willing to pause can understand. You notice the faint sound of footsteps echoing in the distance, yet when you turn your head, the street is empty, leaving only the echo and your own heartbeat to fill the silence. Ahead, a narrow bridge spans a small, forgotten canal, the water beneath reflecting the moon and the fog in rippling patterns. As you step onto the bridge, you feel a subtle vibration in the air, like a heartbeat in rhythm with the town itself. The railing is cold beneath your fingertips, worn smooth by countless hands over generations, and the shadows cast by the nearby trees ripple across the surface of the water like fleeting memories. Somewhere nearby, the faint scent of autumn fires mixes with damp leaves and the lingering sweetness of cider, a reminder that life and tradition continue even amidst the whispers of history. You pause for a moment, leaning over the railing to watch the fog swirl over the water, imagining the countless nights that have passed here, the stories that have been lived and forgotten, the small choices that echoed across time. As you step off the bridge, the alley opens into a quiet square, smaller than the town center, almost hidden, yet alive with subtle activity. The outlines of old buildings lean inward as if to listen, their windows glowing faintly with the light of candles. Carved pumpkins line the thresholds, their faces playful yet mysterious, shadows stretching like delicate fingers across the worn stone. You hear a soft rustling, above perhaps a small owl taking flight, or perhaps something else entirely, something that prefers to remain unseen. The night seems to hold its breath here, every sound magnified in the stillness, every detail drawing your awareness into the town's quiet heartbeat. You take a slow, deliberate breath, letting the calm settle into your chest, your body, and your mind, feeling the gentle rhythm of the night synchronize with your own. Small doorway tucked beneath an overhang draws your attention. Its wooden frame is weathered, the paint faded to a soft gray, yet the brass handle gleams faintly in the moonlight. You reach out, feeling the cool metal, and push gently. The door swings open with a soft creak, revealing a narrow room bathed in amber candlelight. The walls are lined with shelves, holding objects both ordinary and strange. A jar of dried herbs, a stack of old letters tied with twine, small carvings of animals, and sketches of constellations. Dust smokes float lazily through the air, catching the light like tiny stars. You step inside, feeling a comforting warmth envelop you, a quiet sense of intimacy, as though the room has been waiting for someone to notice its stories. Every item seems to hum with memory. Every shadow dances with the whispers of the past, inviting you to linger, to explore, and to breathe in the delicate magic surrounding you. From a small window, you can glimpse the fog rolling across Salem's rooftops, curling around chimneys and spires, shrouding the streets in silver haze. The distant laughter of children in costumes drifts faintly to you, the sound muted and dreamy, adding a playful note to the otherwise solemn night. Somewhere, the soft scrape of branches against a wall reminds you that the town itself is alive, observant and patient, ever watchful, ever welcoming those willing to see beyond the veil of the ordinary. You trace the outlines of the objects on the shelves, imagining the hands that once held them, the lives they touched, the quiet magic of everyday existence in a place so steeped in history that even the air seems to remember. Time stretches gently here, elastic and unhurried. You feel the rhythm of your own heartbeat merge with the pulse of the town. The fog, the flickering candlelight, and the distant echoes of long-forgotten stories. Salem is patient, allowing you to move slowly, to notice every subtle detail, to breathe deeply, and to let the night's calm settle fully into your mind and body. You are part observer, part participant, yet entirely at peace, suspended between the world you know and the mysteries that linger beneath the fog, the shadows, the light, The scents and the whispers wrap around you like a soft blanket, carrying you toward a sense of quiet awe. As the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a peaceful sleep. Asterisk. The fog in Salem thickens as you wander deeper into the heart of the town, curling around ancient rooftops and narrow alleyways, softening every sound and blurring the edges of reality. Every step feels purposeful, as though the stones beneath your feet remember the countless footsteps that came before merchants, children, wanderers, and those who once sought refuge from the weight of their lives. Lanterns sway gently in the breeze, casting flickering shadows that stretch and twist across the weathered walls, forming shapes that seem to move of their own accord. Like stories dancing at the edge of perception, the chill in the air is invigorating, awakening your senses even as it calms your mind, and you notice the faint scent of wood smoke mixed with autumn leaves, the aroma mingling with the crisp night air to form a delicate fragrance unique to Salem's hidden corners. You find yourself drawn to a small square, partially hidden from the main streets, where an old fountain stands at the center, dry and quiet, yet etched with intricate carvings that glint faintly in the moonlight. Shadows play along its surfaces, moving with a life of their own, creating patterns that resemble figures frozen mid-dance, their forms delicate and fleeting. You step closer, tracing the carvings with your fingertips, imagining the hands that shaped them, the eyes that once admired them, the lives that intersected here over centuries. Every whisper of the wind, every distant creak of a shudder, every rustle of leaves becomes part of the story, as if the town itself conspires to tell you its secrets layer by layer, slowly, gently, letting you feel the quiet magic woven into every stone and branch. At the edge of the square, a narrow alley catches your attention, lined with old brick buildings, whose windows glow softly. You follow it, noticing the delicate interplay of light and shadow, the way the fog clings to the walls, curling around doorways and spilling over windowsills. Somewhere above, the skeletal branches of a tall tree sway in the breeze, tapping softly against the roof, a rhythm almost musical in its quiet persistence. A black cat dots across your path, pausing to regard you with unblinking eyes before vanishing into the mist. The encounter is subtle, almost dreamlike, yet it leaves a sense of connection, a reminder that the town is alive in ways that are not always visible. You continue along the alley, your footsteps slow, your senses alert to the delicate beauty and quiet mysteries surrounding you. The alley opens into a hidden courtyard, smaller than you expected, shrouded in fog and illuminated only by a single lantern swinging gently from a wrought iron post. The ground is covered in leaves, crisp and golden, and the scent of autumn hangs heavily in the air, mixed with the faint aroma of burning herbs. You notice a low stone wall, worn smooth by centuries of hands leaning against it, and decide to rest there for a moment. The fog curls around your legs like a soft blanket, and you feel a sense of calm settling deeply into your chest. Every sound is magnified in the quiet, the soft scrape of a branch, the distant toll of a bell, the gentle patter of a small creature moving unseen. All of it blends into a rhythm that slows your thoughts and draws you further into the enchantment of the night. Through a small window on one side of the courtyard, you catch sight of movement, A candle flickers inside a room filled with shelves of books, glass jars, and objects whose purpose is known only to those who once inhabited the town. Shadows dance across the walls, shifting like memories, whispering stories of past Halloweens, of choices and regrets, of laughter and sorrow that linger in the corners. You imagine the lives intertwined here, the people who celebrated, mourned, and loved, each leaving a trace that has survived in stone, wood, and mist. The room feels alive, a quiet sanctuary of memory, a vessel carrying the heartbeat of centuries. You lean closer, inhaling the gentle scent of wax and aged paper, feeling the night wrap around you, protective, magical, and intimate. As you step back into the courtyard, you take a deep breath and let your mind wander, thinking of the stories you've glimpsed and the secrets Salem has shared with you. The lanterns sway, the fog drifts, and the shadows dance, as though bidding you farewell for the night, yet promising to remain quietly in the corners of your mind. You feel a gentle sense of closure, a warm acknowledgement that the town's magic has brushed against your soul, leaving a faint trace of wonder and calm. And before you leave this hidden corner of Salem, let me gently remind you, if you've enjoyed walking these streets with me, if the whispers of the past and the quiet enchantment of the night have touched you, please consider supporting Midnight Murmurs Radio by subscribing, leaving a message, or sharing this journey with someone who might appreciate it. Your presence helps keep the stories alive, and every gesture allows the town, its fog, and its secrets to continue breathing in the quiet hours of night. As the fog curls and the lanterns fade from view, allow yourself to carry this sense of peace and subtle magic with you. Let your body relax completely, and as the story drifts away, allow yourself to drift into a deep, restful, and peaceful sleep. The fog of Salem lingers thickly, even as the first whispers of night give way to the deeper quiet of early evening. You step carefully along the cobblestone streets, each stone slick with dew, and notice how the mist curls around the corners of old buildings, softening their edges and giving them the appearance of floating between reality and memory. Lanterns hang from wrought iron hooks, swinging gently with the breath of the night, casting flickering light onto the worn facades of homes that have stood for centuries. The air carries the scent of burning wood mingled with fallen leaves, and the faint sweetness of pumpkins left on doorsteps. Somewhere far off, a child's laugh echoes faintly, carried by the wind, distant yet intimate, reminding you that the town is alive in small, secret ways. The streets seem quieter now, more intimate, drawing you further into the hidden layers of Salem's past, into stories that hover between what is seen and what is imagined. As you follow the winding path, you notice a narrow alley that twists away from the main street, lined with ivy-covered brick walls and tiny, shuttered windows. The fog hugs the ground here, curling around your ankles like a soft, cool blanket, and the shadows of the lanterns stretch across the walls in delicate, shifting patterns. You feel a quiet anticipation, as though the town itself is guiding you, leading you toward a story that has waited centuries for someone to notice. A gentle rustling draws your attention upward, and you catch sight of an old wooden sign swinging on a single hinge. Its paint faded and worn, but the etched letters still legible. Whispering Hearth, You step closer, drawn to the doorway, and notice the faint glow of candlelight spilling from behind the threshold, painting the alley with amber warmth. Crossing the threshold, you enter a small, cozy room filled with objects that seem almost alive in the candlelight. Shelves line the walls, holding jars of herbs, bundles of dried flowers, old books, and delicate figurines whose faces seem to watch you softly. A fireplace crackles with a low, comforting warmth, the scent of burning wood mingling with the faint aroma of cinnamon and nutmeg. The room feels suspended in time, as though the moments that pass within it are untouched by the world outside. You step toward the window, looking out at the mist-enshrouded town, and notice the way the fog curls around the gables and chimneys, blurring the boundaries between shadow and light. Somewhere distant, the bell of a chapel tolls softly, its sound echoing faintly in the stillness, a reminder of centuries of lives, celebrations, and quiet observances that have left their mark on this town. A small table in the center of the room catches your attention. On it rests a worn journal, its leather cover cracked with age, and when you open it, the pages reveal delicate handwriting, sketches of constellations, maps of Salem's streets, and notes on rituals long past. The words seem to hum quietly, a soft vibration in the air that fills the room without sound. As if the stories themselves are breathing alongside you, you sense the presence of those who once held this book, their lives intertwined with the history of the town, their choices and secrets preserved in the ink and paper. As you study the pages, the candlelight flickers, shadows stretching across the walls, forming shapes that resemble figures frozen in dance, reminding you that the town's magic is subtle, patient, and endlessly watchful. The fog outside presses gently against the windows, curling inward like a soft caress. You hear the distant rustle of branches and the quiet flit of a small bird taking flight, sounds that seem amplified in the stillness, part of the rhythm of the night. The room itself seems to breathe, alive with memory and quiet energy, a sanctuary that exists between the present and the past. You notice a small key resting on the journal's pages, glinting faintly in the candlelight. It seems almost to beckon, an invitation to explore doors that have remained closed for decades, perhaps even centuries. You reach out, feeling the cool metal, and sense the weight of untold stories waiting just beyond the threshold, their presence delicate, gentle, and full of quiet magic. As you linger in the room, absorbing every detail, the scent of the candles, the crackle of the fireplace, the soft hum of history surrounding you, you feel a profound sense of calm. The fog, the shadows, the candlelight, and the whispers of long-gone voices weave together into a tapestry of quiet enchantment. Every heartbeat aligns with the rhythm of the town. Every breath becomes slower, more deliberate, and every step you have taken seems to have led here, to this moment suspended in the delicate balance of time, memory, and imagination. The night stretches endlessly, patient and protective, and you feel the gentle pull of rest creeping over your body. As the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a peaceful sleep. You step back onto the fog-laden streets of Salem, the damp cobblestones slick beneath your feet, reflecting the soft glow of lanterns, swaying gently in the night breeze. The air is thick with mist, curling around corners, seeping into alleyways, and softening the edges of the world until reality and memory seem to mingle indistinguishably. Each footstep is accompanied by the soft crunch of fallen leaves and the faint hum of distant voices carried on the wind, whispers of townspeople long gone, echoing faintly through time. Somewhere nearby, a branch taps softly against the side of a house, its skeletal form moving with a rhythm that feels deliberate, as though it is part of a larger, unspoken language of the night. You inhale deeply, letting the cool, crisp air fill your lungs, carrying with it the sense of autumn smoky fires, damp earth, and the lingering sweetness of ripe pumpkins. As you wander further, a narrow alley appears between two tall, weathered buildings. The walls are blanketed with ivy, curling and twisting upward, creating intricate patterns that shift and sway with the fog. A small wooden door at the alley's end catches your attention. Its paint faded and peeling, the hinges creaking faintly with the subtle wind. You approach slowly, drawn by a sense of quiet invitation, as if the town itself is urging you forward to uncover stories that have waited long and patiently for your presence. The door opens with surprising ease, revealing a hidden courtyard bathed in the pale light of the moon, where the fog hangs low, curling around ancient stones and twisted trees like a protective veil. The ground is carpeted with leaves of amber, gold, and deep crimson, and the air hums with a subtle energy that raises goosebumps along your arms. At the center of the courtyard stands an old fountain, dry and still, yet etched with delicate carvings that seem to shimmer faintly in the moonlight. Shadows of the surrounding trees dance across its surface, forming fleeting shapes that resemble figures frozen mid-motion, caught between the living world and some other, quieter realm. You step closer, noticing the way the stone feels under your fingertip, rough and steady, holding the weight of countless years. The courtyard seems untouched by time, yet alive in ways that are impossible to define. A silent witness to celebrations, secrets, and whispered confessions that have echoed across generations. Somewhere in the distance, the faint laughter of children in costume drifts on the wind, playful yet distant, as if it belongs to both the present and the past. A small ivy-covered archway draws your attention, revealing a shadowed path beyond the fountain. The fog curls around your feet as you step through, and the air grows cooler, carrying with it the faint scent of herbs and candle wax. The path leads to a narrow chamber tucked between buildings, its walls lined with shelves filled with objects that hint at lives once lived. Small carved figures, jars filled with mysterious powders, stacks of aged paper, and books whose pages seem to hum faintly with the weight of untold stories. The candlelight flickers gently, casting elongated shadows that twist and sway across the walls, forming shapes that suggest movement, conversation, and life. Long after the living have departed, you feel the presence of history here, palpable and patient, like a quiet heartbeat beneath the fog. Through a small window, you can see the mist swirling across Salem's rooftops, curling around chimneys and spires, softening the edges of the town and giving it a dreamlike quality. The world outside feels both distant and intimate, as though you are suspended between realms, observing the present through the lens of centuries past. A faint tapping at the window draws your attention, a gentle rhythm, deliberate and measured. Perhaps it is a branch swaying in the wind, or perhaps it is something more. You cannot tell, and that is part of the magic. The delicate ambiguity between what is real and what is imagined. A gentle tension that sharpens your senses while keeping your mind calm. You take a slow breath, letting your awareness settle into the quiet rhythm of the chamber and the courtyard beyond. Every sound, every shadow, every flicker of candlelight becomes part of a larger story, a tapestry woven across time. You notice a small key resting on a shelf, catching the candlelight, its metal cool and firm beneath your fingertips. It seems to hum with possibility, a reminder that doors, both literal and metaphorical, are waiting to be opened. Stories waiting to be discovered. The fog drifts against the window. The lanterns sway, and you feel a sense of calm. A gentle immersion in the layered magic of Salem. A night suspended between memory and imagination. As you linger in the chamber, breathing in the warmth and the faint sense of the night, you feel the subtle pull of rest, the quiet tug of the fog, the soft rhythm of centuries pressing gently against the present, the shadows, the candlelight, the distant laughter, and the whispering wind form a symphony of delicate enchantment. You are both witness and participant, entirely at peace, walking slowly through a town that holds its magic quietly but persistently. As the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a peaceful sleep. The fog thickens as you wander along Salem's twisting streets, curling around the corners of shuttered windows and time-worn doors, softening the edges of reality until the town feels suspended between the past and the present. Lanterns hang from wrought iron hooks, swaying gently with the evening breeze, casting flickering light onto the cobblestones beneath your feet. Each step echoes faintly, a quiet rhythm that blends seamlessly with the whisper of leaves drifting along the ground. Somewhere far off, the soft hum of a chapel bell marks the passing of the hour, its tone carried lightly on the wind, intermingling with the muted laughter of children in costume, distant yet tangible, as if the town itself remembers every celebration that has ever taken place within its streets. The air is crisp, scented with wood smoke, damp earth, and the subtle sweetness of fallen leaves. An olfactory tapestry that draws you further into the delicate magic of the night. You turn down a narrow alley lined with ivy-covered brick walls, the mist curling around your ankles like a soft, cool blanket. The alleyway seems alive, the shadows cast by the lanterns bending and twisting as if they were aware of your presence, forming shapes that suggest fleeting movement, a passerby long gone, a memory clinging to the walls, or perhaps a spirit lingering quietly, observing your path. At the far end, a small wooden door, weathered and cracked, beckons. The hinges groan softly as you push it open, revealing a courtyard hidden from the main streets, shrouded in fog and bathed in pale moonlight. The ground is blanketed with leaves of amber, gold, and deep crimson, their rustling underfoot echoing faintly through the stillness. At the center stands a dry fountain, its surface etched with carvings that shimmer subtly in the moonlight, forming delicate figures frozen mid-motion. You step closer, tracing the grooves with your fingertips, imagining the hands that shaped them, the lives that have passed this way, and the stories that linger in the stone. The courtyard feels suspended in time, a threshold between the world of the living and the echoes of centuries past. Shadows dance across the walls of surrounding buildings, elongating and shrinking with each flicker of lantern light, creating a rhythm that is both hypnotic and calming. Somewhere beyond the mist, you hear the faint scratch of branches against the window, a subtle, almost musical sound that adds to the delicate tension of the night. The air carries the scent of burning herbs, mingled with the faint sweetness of roasted pumpkin, and you feel your senses heighten. Every sound and smell drawing you deeper into the enchantment of Salem's hidden spaces. A small, ivy-covered archway at the edge of the courtyard reveals a narrow path leading further into the fog. You step through, the mist curling around your legs and settling like a soft veil. The path leads to a chamber tucked between two ancient buildings, where the walls are lined with shelves holding jars of dried herbs, small carved figurines, stacks of aged letters, and books whose pages seem to hum quietly, as though breathing with the memory of past owners. Candlelight flickers across the surfaces, casting elongated shadows that stretch and bend, creating shapes that resemble figures frozen mid-conversation, their presence felt but unseen. You feel the weight of history here, a gentle but undeniable energy, patient and pervasive, reminding you that every object, every shadow, and every scent carries with it stories waiting to be remembered. Through a small window, you catch glimpses of the fog swirling across rooftops and chimneys, softening the outlines of the town and giving it a dreamlike quality. Somewhere distant, an owl hoots, a low, echoing note that resonates softly through the alleyways. The night is alive with subtle sounds and quiet rhythms, a symphony of movement, presence, and memory. You notice a small key resting on a shelf, its metal cool beneath your fingertips, glinting faintly in the candlelight. It seems almost to hum with possibility, an invitation to explore doors and stories that have remained closed for decades, perhaps even centuries, as you linger, taking in the warmth of the chamber and the ethereal glow of the candlelight. You feel the gentle pull of rest. The fog presses softly against the windows. The shadows sway, and the history of the town settles around you like a protective cloak. Every sound, every flicker, and every whisper becomes part of a quiet rhythm, soothing and enchanting, guiding your senses toward calm. The streets, the fog, the lanterns, and the whispers of the past all converge, weaving a tapestry of delicate magic and soft wonder. You are both observer and participant, entirely at peace, suspended between the world you know and the mysteries lingering in the mist. As the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a peaceful sleep. The fog thickens even more as you move deeper into Salem, curling around rooftops and twisting through narrow alleys, softening the edges of the town and transforming familiar streets into a landscape suspended between reality and memory. Every step you take echoes softly on the cobblestones, mingling with the gentle rustle of fallen leaves drifting across the ground, each leaf a tiny relic of seasons past. Lanterns swing gently in the evening breeze, casting elongated shadows that dance across the walls of time-worn buildings. You notice the faint smell of burning wood and fallen leaves mingling in the air, carrying with it the crisp sweetness of autumn nights. Somewhere distant, a child's laughter floats on the wind, soft and almost ethereal, blending with the occasional rustle of a branch or the faint creak of a shutter, each sound amplified by the quiet intimacy of the night. A narrow alley draws your attention, flanked by brick walls heavy with ivy, their green tendrils curling toward the fog above. At the end of the alley, a low, arched doorway beckons you, its wooden frame worn smooth with age. You approach slowly, feeling the cool stone beneath your fingertips, and push the door open with a soft creak. Beyond it lies a hidden courtyard, shrouded in fog and bathed in moonlight, the ground carpeted with amber and gold leaves. At the center, a dry fountain stands, etched with intricate carvings that seem almost to shimmer as the lanterns sway, forming fleeting figures frozen mid-motion. Shadows from surrounding trees dance across the walls, stretching and bending, creating shapes that suggest moments of life long past. You trace the carvings, imagining the hands that carved them, the stories of those who once paused here, the celebrations and whispers of Halloween's long gone. Through the mist, the alley leads you further into the heart of the courtyard, where a narrow path opens beneath an ivy-covered archway. The fog curls around your legs, thickening and softening the space, and the air carries the faint scent of herbs and candle wax. At the end of the path, a chamber reveals itself between two ancient buildings, its walls lined with shelves filled with objects that seem almost alive in the flickering candlelight. Jars of dried flowers, bundles of herbs, small carved figures, stacks of yellowed letters, and books that appear to hum with quiet stories. Shadows twist across the walls, forming fleeting shapes that suggest conversation, movement, and memory. A subtle reminder that the town is alive with the echoes of those who came before. From a small window, the swirling fog of Salem's rooftops forms delicate patterns in the moonlight, blurring the boundary between reality and imagination. Somewhere distant, an owl hoots, low and resonant, adding to the rhythm of the night, and the distant laughter of costumed children drifts faintly on the wind. Each sound is amplified in the silence, each scent heightened, pulling you further into the enchantment of the town. A small, tarnished key resting on a shelf glints softly in the candlelight, drawing your attention. You lift it gently, feeling the cool metal and imagining the doors it might open, the stories it might unlock, the secrets of Salem waiting patiently for discovery. You wander back to the courtyard, the fog curling around your feet, settling into the stone and leaves. Lanterns sway gently above, casting long shadows across the fountain, and the carved figures appear to shift and move, caught between the moonlight and shadow. You take a deep breath, feeling the rhythm of your heartbeat merge with the subtle energy of the town. Every sound, the rustle of leaves, the faint creak of shutters, the distant toll of a bell blends into a gentle cadence that soothes your mind and body. The chamber, the courtyard, the fog, and the lanterns all wrap around you like a soft cloak, a reminder that magic exists quietly persistently, waiting for patient eyes and gentle hearts to notice. You pause to take it all in, feeling fully present, aware of the layers of history, mystery, and subtle enchantment surrounding you. The night seems infinite, patient, and protective, carrying the weight of centuries while allowing you to move slowly, breathe deeply, and absorb its quiet beauty. The shadows, the fog, the lanterns, the distant laughter, they all converge into a tapestry of calm and wonder, guiding you gently toward rest. As the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a peaceful sleep. You continue along Salem's quiet streets, the fog curling thickly around your ankles, softening the cobblestones and blurring the boundaries between the world you know and the shadows of the past. Lanterns flicker gently, their warm light stretched into long, wavering patterns across the building's walls, turning familiar shapes into fleeting silhouettes that seem alive with stories. The scent of autumn clings to the air, smoky fires, damp leaves, and the faint sweetness of pumpkin spice blending with the crisp night air to form a fragrant tapestry that draws you deeper into the town's hidden corners. Somewhere distant, a branch taps against a shutter, a subtle percussion that blends with the soft rustle of leaves, forming a gentle rhythm that guides your steps. Every sound, every shadow, every flicker of light seems purposeful, pulling you further into Salem's layered past, where history, memory, and imagination converge. A narrow alley opens before you, lined with ivy-covered bricks and windows faintly glowing from within. The fog wraps around the walls, curling like a living presence, softening the edges of time. At the alley's end, a small wooden door stands partially ajar, its worn frame beckoning quietly. You push it open gently, revealing a hidden courtyard bathed in the silver glow of moonlight. The ground is carpeted with fallen leaves of gold, amber, and crimson, and at the center stands a dry fountain etched with delicate carvings. Shadows from nearby trees dance across the stone, forming figures frozen mid-motion, their presence ethereal, almost alive. You step closer, tracing the intricate designs with your fingertips, imagining the hands that carved them, the lives that paused here, and the secrets that lingered silently within the stone. Through an ivy-covered archway, a narrow path leads you further into the heart of the courtyard. The fog curls around your legs, cool and soft, as you follow the path into a chamber tucked between two ancient buildings. Candlelight flickers across shelves lined with jars of dried herbs, stacks of yellowed letters, small carved figurines, and books that seem to hum faintly with memory. Shadows twist and sway across the walls, forming fleeting images of past conversations, dances, and quiet moments. You feel the weight of history pressing gently around you, a comforting presence that is patient and reminding you that the town has witnessed centuries of lives, choices, and celebrations. From a small window, the swirling fog over Salem's rooftops seems almost sentient, curling and drifting like smoke from another time. The distant hoot of an owl echoes faintly, resonating through the alleyways, while the laughter of children in costumes drifts softly on the wind, ephemeral yet comforting. Every sound is amplified in the stillness, each scent heightened drawing your attention to the subtle magic of the town. A small tarnished key rests upon a shelf, catching the candlelight. You lift it gently, feeling the cool metal beneath your fingers, sensing the untold stories it might unlock, the doors it might open, the memories it might release from the shadows of the past. You wander back to the courtyard, feeling the fog curl around your feet, settling into the stone and leaves. Lanterns sway above, casting dancing shadows across the fountain and walls. The carved figures appear to move subtly, shifting with the candlelight and moonbeams, their delicate forms suggesting the presence of unseen watchers. You take a deep breath, letting your heartbeat slow, syncing with the quiet rhythm of the night. The chamber, the courtyard, the lanterns, and the mist form a cocoon around you, a gentle, protective embrace, allowing you to feel both present and suspended, anchored in the moment yet floating with the town's quiet magic. As you linger in this hidden corner of Salem, every sound, shadow, and flicker of light becomes part of a soothing symphony, weaving together the past and present into a gentle, continuous flow. You feel the pull of rest, the soft tug of the fog, the subtle energy of centuries pressing gently against the world outside. The town's magic is patient, quiet, and persistent, wrapping around you like a blanket of calm. Every heartbeat, every breath, every faint whisper draws you closer to peace. As the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a peaceful sleep. The fog lies thick across Salem as you wander deeper into the quiet streets, curling around rooftops, sliding through narrow alleys, and softening the edges of the town until it feels suspended between past and present. Lanterns sway gently in the night breeze, casting long, flickering shadows across the time-worn walls, creating shapes that seem alive with stories waiting to be discovered. The scent of autumn lingers in the air, smoky fires, damp leaves, and the subtle sweetness of pumpkin and spice, blending with the crispness of the evening to form a tapestry of comfort and quiet wonder. Each step you take on the cobblestones echoes softly, mingling with the rustle of leaves drifting across the ground, and somewhere distant, the faint laughter of children in costume drifts on the wind, ethereal and timeless, bridging the present with the echoes of Halloween's past. A narrow alley draws your attention, framed by ivy-covered walls and small, shuttered windows glowing faintly from within. At the alley's end, a low wooden door beckons, its surface worn smooth with age, the hinges creaking softly as you push it open. Beyond it lies a courtyard hidden from the main streets, shrouded in fog and bathed in pale moonlight. The ground is covered with a carpet of amber, gold, and crimson leaves, and at its center stands a dry fountain edged with intricate carvings. Shadows from surrounding trees sway across the stone, forming delicate figures frozen mid-motion, their presence gentle, almost ethereal. You step closer, tracing the designs with your fingertips, imagining the hands that shaped them, the lives that paused here, and the whispers of secrets carried quietly through the centuries. Through an ivy-covered archway, a path leads deeper into the courtyard, the fog curling softly around your feet as if guiding you forward. The path brings you to a narrow chamber tucked between two ancient buildings, its walls lined with shelves filled with jars of herbs, small carved figurines, stacks of yellowed letters, and books that seem to hum faintly with memory. Candlelight flickers gently, casting elongated shadows that shift and bend across the walls, forming fleeting shapes of conversation, dance, and quiet moments. You feel the presence of history here, patient and comforting, a gentle energy that reminds you that the town has witnessed centuries of lives, choices, and celebrations. Every object, every shadow, and every subtle scent holds stories waiting to be noticed. From a small window, you can see the fog drifting across Salem's rooftops, curling and swirling in the moonlight. The night is alive with quiet sounds, the soft tapping of branches, the distant hoot of an owl, and the laughter of children far off in the distance. Each sound is amplified in the stillness, each detail heightened, drawing you further into the town. Essay delicate in a small, tarnished key rests upon a shelf, glinting softly in the candlelight. You lift it gently, feeling the cool metal beneath your fingertips, sensing the doors it might open and the stories it might release from the shadows of the past. Stepping back into the courtyard, you feel the fog curling around your feet and settling like a soft blanket over the ground. Lanterns sway above, casting long, dancing shadows across the fountain and walls, while the carved figures seem to shift subtly, caught between moonlight and shadow. You take a deep breath, allowing your heartbeat to slow and merge with the rhythm of the night. The courtyard, the chamber, the lanterns, and the mist form a gentle, protective cocoon around you, grounding you in the moment while allowing your imagination to wander freely as you linger. You feel the pull of rest, the soft tug of the fog, and the subtle energy of centuries pressing quietly against the world outside. The night wraps itself around you like a blanket of calm. Every shadow, every flicker of light, every whisper of wind contributing to a symphony of gentle enchantment. Salem's magic is patient and persistent, wrapping around you without urgency, allowing you to feel both present and suspended, part of the town's history while floating within its mystery. Every heartbeat, every breath, every rustle of leaves carries you closer to peace, to quiet reflection, and to the calm that precedes sleep. As the story fades, allow yourself to carry this sense of wonder and gentle magic with you. Feel your body relax fully, the fog of the night wrapping around you softly, the lantern's glow lingering in your mind. Let your thoughts drift gently like leaves upon the breeze, letting go of the day, of worries, of noise, the streets, the shadows, the whispers of children, and the distant echoes of time all converge in perfect harmony, guiding you toward the calmest, most restful sleep. As the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a peaceful, restorative sleep.